Hey everybody, welcome back to Cowboy Culturism. I am Cowboy Culturism, and today we're going to be talking about the basic upgrades which I've made to my AK-104 from KUSA. Now this obviously looks very different from the way that it was pulled out of the box in my last video. I went through and I did basic upgrades to this. These are just things that were lying around my house, and I want to talk to you guys about it today. So really, in terms of upgrades, I've really only made changes from here back, unless you want to include the sling being attached up here as an upgrade. But from here back, I've changed a lot of different things, and I want to keep you guys in the loop about this. As I am doing these videos, I want to take you on the journey of owning this firearm and the different things that I do to it. Aesthetic choices you may not agree with, but I really like how it looks right now, and I'll probably end up changing it even more. So I know I put up a post asking people what they wanted next. I asked about if you wanted me to do a video on my Bubba 30-06 Mauser from Colombia, or if you wanted me to do a longer form video about why I'm switching to the AK-104 as opposed to the 103. Then the other option was, should I do a basic upgrades video? And most people voted for the long form video, but I'm trying to do these things sequentially. If I showed up in the long form video with this thing decked out the way it is, I think people would ask questions. And, you know, it's just a short little video about talking what I've changed on this, and I'd like to keep you guys in the loop about that. So, sorry about not doing the long-form video like everybody asked for, but I want to keep you in the loop. And this way you get more AK-104 content. Again, these things were just lying around my house, so, you know, as you see the different things that I've changed about this, I didn't go out and buy these, you know, right after I made that video. These were already parts I had, and I just couldn't help myself from putting it on this gun. And even before I did my first mags video, I couldn't help myself. I had to put these on this gun. So sorry, but this is the video you're getting next. This is how it's got to go. I just feel wrong if I show up in another video, you know, decked out like this, and I didn't really explain anything. So what do I mean by basic upgrades? This stuff that I put on this gun doesn't require gunsmithing or isn't heavily involved. So if I intended to change this mag release out to like a WBP extended mag release or something, or if I decided to install a K&S gas piston, that's actually a little bit more involved than, you know, installing one of these or putting this JMAC thing on it or putting this sight on it or anything like that. I would say that the most involved thing that I've done here is actually install the TWS Dog Leg, in which I had to bump the rear sight leaf out with a rubber mallet and a screwdriver, and then I had to Loctite this. That's the most that I've actually done that's intensive, I guess, if you want to call it that, to this firearm so far. So I'm still considering all of these basic upgrades. You know, it's a sling, it's a pistol grip, it's this thing. You had to just pop a pin out. You know, it's a scope. These aren't really labor-intensive or gunsmithing required type of upgrades. So that's why I'm calling this the basic upgrades video. So what's my goal with this? I want an alpha AK-104 with easy-to-use parts. What I mean by easy-to-use parts, I want things like an enlarged charging handle. I want things like a better trigger. I want a better mag release for this, that type of deal. I think that makes the gun easier to use. I want an enhanced safety. These types of things make the gun easier to use, and I really, that's the route I want to go with this. Overarchingly, though, I also want to add functional upgrades to this, like this scope, like this sling. I'll eventually get a flashlight. These things I'm considering functional upgrades, and that's what I intend to do next. Yeah, the rifle is fine. Look, I bought a 100 series AK, and I play video games. Keeping it traditional does not give me as much capability. Maybe one day I'll own an unfired mint poly tech that never comes off the wall or never comes out of the safe, but this is not that gun. So what inspired me to do some of these upgrades? Well, I'll flash some pictures of different 104 builds I've seen across the internet and how they're going about changing their 104s and the things they're adding to that. And I think this is the path for me that makes the most sense for where it's going to be used and what I'm going to be doing with this gun. I think that the upgrades that I'm going to add, or have added to this and I'm going to add, are the direction I want to go. I think it still looks aesthetic. I think it still is functional, and I'm making slow and minor upgrades to things like the charging handle and the trigger. This way, I'm able to still keep this as a working firearm. So I want to go butt to tip on this gun. Again, really most of the things back here are where I've upgraded. So I want to start butt to tip, and we'll talk about these things. So the JMAC ST6 and the SBA3 brace. Why did I choose this as the thing that I'm going to run on this gun? So the JMAC ST6 is a skeletonized buffer tube. So what's the advantages of running a buffer tube on an AK? Well, AKs particularly, if they have stocks like a rifle would, a lot of stocks come from here down. And so as you're firing the gun likes to tilt up as the recoil impulse is imparted onto the shooter's shoulder. If you add a buffer tube to this type of firearm, the recoil impulse is actually directly back in line with the bolt. What's good about the JMAC ST6 is I can actually move it up if I decide I want to impart less recoil onto my shoulder, or I can move it down for some reason. Maybe you're running night vision or something and you need more space, you might want to run it lower. But the JMAC 6 gives you options. Some other features, it's 6 inches long, it has 6 adjustable positions, it's got a very fold lockup in the folding mechanism, like there's no movement at all. There's 1913 options if you decide you want to run Picatinny. There's SIG folding options if you decide you want to keep your stock folded to the left-hand side when you do fold it, and it'll stay that way. And this QD point here is in the best position, I think. On my AK-103, there's a sling swivel right here. And I actually really like that. But QD points, in my estimation, are objectively better than just running a sling through a loop and whatever, because I can quick detach this. So it's as simple as doing that. If you have never used QD points before, it's as simple as doing that to take it off. Instead of having to thread the loop of the sling out of that position, I can just attach it and detach it just like that. It's QD, it's quick detach. All of the things that I just listed that it does, though, it does so weighing 4.02 ounces. The strut itself weighs 3.1 ounces. So it's a very light system as compared to regular buffer tube. The weight is a big selling point for me. Since AKs and piston guns generally are heavy little bastards, other buffer tube adapters weigh 3.1 ounces, especially the one from JMAC Customs, which is it's just a little thing right here, and then it allows you to put a regular buffer tube on it. That weighs 3.1 ounces. This strut weighs 3.1 ounces. Add on top of that a regular buffer tube weight of like 4 or 5 ounces or something like that. This option saves you weight. So who wouldn't love that? I'm undecided about the SBA3 brace overall, though. I know there's better options out there, like the SBA4. A lot of people argue for the SBA4 over the SBA3, and I get it because it's got an extra strut right here to add more rigidity. But for me, I really like the aesthetic of this. It's a lightweight option, and so I think for now I'm going to be doing the SBA3, but I will keep an SBA4 on order, and then I can do a video later on comparing the SBA3 versus the SBA4 on an AK if you guys are interested in that. The ST6 also offers me the easiest upgrade path with the most options should the unconstitutional NFA ever get repealed. If I'm forced by Big Daddy government to put a stock on this, and you can read into that whatever you'd like, the ST6 offers me the easiest path insofar as it's a buffer tube at the end of the day. And there's tons of things that can go in a buffer tube. Plus, it looks sick. Dude, look at that. That is so cool. It's skeletonized. This is what it looks like. You got your big JMAC logo here. 6 inches long from the strut. Very, very nice option, I think. For reference, I'm normally running my ST6 about 1 position in, so I'm using the 5th option on here in order to be able to get the most effective fitment for me. I want to mention other options that you could have if you decide you don't want an ST6 from JMAC Customs. There's, of course, the regular buffer tube adapter, which comes out about yay far and gives you a full buffer tube that you can put on your AK. That's a regular option. I just decided to do this to save a little bit of weight. There's also an option from the Sure Shot Armament Group. It weighs about 150 to 175 grams. That's like 5 to 6 ounces. It's 7 position adjustable. I like running these shorter, so I didn't really need to opt for that. And I don't like the look as much. I'll flash some pictures on the screen, but if you like that idea and you like theirs and you don't care about a little bit more weight, go for it, dude. Or you could go for the JMAC option, just do a regular buffer tube. It's all up to you. But my favorite YouTubers, they swear by JMAC, so I'm buying into the brand. Next, I want to talk about this sling from KUSA. It's actually a collaboration sling with KUSA and Blue Force gear. Amongst the weird marketing from KUSA, which is commonplace nowadays, around 6 or 7 months ago, I think it was at SHOT Show, one of their strategies worked on me. Shameful, I know. I actually saw this sling in a Clayco 47 video at SHOT Show, I think. Again, it's a little fuzzy, but it's a Blue Force gear sling. As you can see here, there's the There's the Blue Force Gear logo, made in the USA, and then there's your Kalashnikov USA collaboration on the same brand. I have a Blue Force Gear sling. Another one, I have the VTAC sling that has the padded option. It's in Coyote Tan, and I really like that sling. I probably wouldn't have gotten it in Coyote Tan knowing what I know now, but I really do like that sling. I like the paddedness of it, so I decided since I like that sling, I would get this one as well. You've got some Cordura here. You've got these buckles on it, suspiciously like brown Romanian Bakelite colored. And then you've got your little leather tab on it right here that has the KUSA logo on it. I like this one because it's got a neat color. It was trying to be something that they were basing off of like the original AK slings. I'm pretty sure this is just OD green, but I'm chasing an aesthetic, and that's why I was interested in this. Originally, I had this sling from KUSA mounted on my PSA AK-103. It's sort of like putting Pepsi in a Coke glass there.
Pepsi bottle? A Coca-Cola glass? I don't give a damn.
But I'm chasing an aesthetic as well, okay? So I hope you'll understand. It also came with a molded universal wire loop. So let me show you that real quick. This is the molded universal wire loop. I have it threaded through here. You have to kind of do some black magic trickery in order to get it on the gun. Not really, you just have to kind of like fold it through and then double it back on itself. But I really like this as compared to something like a clash hook, because clash hooks, they like to make a lot of noise, and this is just plastic and polymer rubbing on metal. So as opposed to metal and metal clanking on each other, this is actually a much quieter option, and it's got a bunginess to it, which I kind of like. So yeah, that's the sling. I'm going to sling it back the way that I had on this rifle at the beginning of this video real quick, because I think that looks cool. Really like the sling on this rifle. I think it looks really nice. I kind of have it bound up on here, kind of like you'd see on a different AK, like an AK-103. Sometimes they'll run the sling diagonally across it like this to kind of stow it for a while, but I thought it looked kind of cool for this video itself. Am I really going to run it that way? Probably not, but it looks kind of cool, so I'm just doing it like this for the video. I was just running this tab like this. Like right now it just flips around and like that, so I just pulled this part through, and now it doesn't flip around as much. All right, moving on. We've talked about the sling a little bit too much. I want to talk about the 3X Microprism from Primary Arms. First and foremost, I take Rob Ski from AKOU's word as gospel. He described this scope as the little miracle.
Oh, you members, today I want to talk to you about the little miracle. This is the little miracle.
And I think he's right. I've put about 200 rounds through it on my PSA AK-103 before that rifle started having problems, but I love the scope. So some features on it, I'll give you a quick rundown because there's lots of people who have done better videos on this than me. 3X magnification with a pretty bright reticle. It's a prism scope, so the etched reticle works without batteries, which I really like. I'll flash a picture of what the crosshair looks like in this optic. There's a big center chevron, which is really great for more precise shooting, and the exterior ring is great for shorter distance stuff. It comes with 7.62 holds out to 600 yards, which I really appreciate. The holds are really cool too because there's like a little line there you can use to size like a man-sized target. I think it's averaged off somebody who's 5'10". So I love those holds and they're pretty helpful. It's a little bit hopeful walking 7.62 by 39 out to 600 yards, but you know, it's kind of cool that you have the option. I think this is the perfect amount of scope for something like this. This gun, it extends the capabilities and range a lot and allows for more precise shooting just like any other scope, but it also allows for close range stuff as well, and 3X isn't overpowering, and the best part is that you don't have to put it on an AK. It comes with like 10 different height mounts, and you can choose really anything, and you can mix and match, and you can get the perfect scope height for you. And you can put that on any 7.62 by 39 AR or any 300 blackout AR or any 7.62 AK. And because you have all those different options, you can really choose what works best for you. And I like that. One of the other best parts about this scope is that the original version of this 7.62 3X scope from Primary Arms, it weighed 18.4 ounces. But this scope, maybe without the extra little rubber bits right here that I kept on the gun, and maybe without the kill flash, it weighs 7.95 ounces. For contrast, a Romeo 5 weighs about 5.2 ounces. So 3X magnification, chevron, BDC, and you've got holds out to 600 yards. Who wouldn't pick this up? That's awesome. I love that. I want to do a longer form video of reviewing this scope and seeing how far I can really push it at range, so stay tuned for that. Next, I want to talk about what the scope is mounted on. This is a TWS Dog Leg Gen 3. I know a lot of people have been skeptical about this product, but I've previously mounted it on my PSA AK-103 and it held zero remarkably. A lot of videos on this product are older, but I see videos from people like Operator on a Budget or Blue Jean Operator and some stuff from 9-Hole Reviews that are recent and saying these products are quality. So I'm going off of them for why I got this upgrade. You'll see that the backup iron sight is pushed a little far forward. This is because if I put it back here, the scope would actually touch it. And if I raise up the mounting option, it still wanted to touch it. So this thing is a prism, you know, it's got an etch reticle. I'm not really worried about the batteries dying on this and having to go to iron sights, so I just decided to push it as far forward. Why not, you know? The TWS Dog Leg, if you're not familiar, it's a folding mechanism. So I can do this and pop it up and it folds open my AK. I can put it down or I can detach it like this. I push this in and take this out. I can detach the scope and it holds zero through all of these things. So I think that's a really nice feature to have on an AK, the fact that you can swap these in and out and take it off for cleaning. I like that idea. And it holds zero through the whole thing. It doesn't wobble at all. If you push it all the way down, it doesn't wobble at all. I've had no issues with it in that department. And I've mounted it on 2 AKs now and it still feels rock solid. Originally, I bought the TWS Dog Leg because I wanted to be able to retain the folding mechanism that's on AK-103s without a side rail getting in the way. So on AK-103s, you can fold it over here, and this little clip will attach to the stock, and it will stay folded. That doesn't work on this, unfortunately. But I did have it in my house, so I decided, you know, instead of having to go out there and find something else to attach to this side rail, I would just use this again and put it on my KP-104. So next, I want to talk about the Bakelite. Why are you doing Bakelite? There's like MOE options from Magpul. I love the look of Bakelite, and I love the feel of Bakelite. This is honestly the most comfortable grip on any gun that I've ever had. Your mileage may vary, but I have owned like 10 different grips for ARs and AKs, and this is the one that I consistently go, that feels the best in my hand. Maybe Dad's got some Slav in him or something, and therefore I would, but he would have to do some explaining. But I can't see myself changing this grip. It's so comfortable. It's so aesthetic. I love Bakelite. Next, I want to talk about the ALG AKT-EL trigger that I have in here. This is the illustrious ALG trigger for AKs. Everybody loves these triggers, and having it, I totally get it. It has much more pull than I thought it would. Here, I'll see if I can ghost this on camera for you guys. I'll turn it over. It has much more pull. See, I thought it would just be like right here and then I would break, but it's a very good reset, very, very soft. It's like a 3.5 pound pull too. It's a very nice trigger. I'm really, really happy with this upgrade. The only thing I wish it didn't have is this pull right at the beginning. Like I thought it would just be right at the wall, you know, like a real single stage, but I guess it's got a little slop. I'm not too worried though. So yeah, that's the ALG AKT. So next I want to talk about this little bolt knob. So this is the Zenitco RP-1 charging handle. As you can see, it's kind of beat to hell, but I really like this charging handle. It allows me to get a little bit more behind this on this gun, and really I don't slip off of this ever. The Zenitco RP-1 really ties into my philosophy of making all the touch points on AKs easier to use. So I like that I can grab this and not slip off the charging handle. I intend to upgrade this safety to an enhanced safety. I like the trigger that I got in. I intend to upgrade even this, you know. I want to make it a WBP enlarged mag release. All these touch points, big, easy to touch, easy to find for Grug Brain. So I like that a lot. So yeah, that basically covers all the different things that I've done to this gun so far. So I want to talk about some other basic upgrades I intend to add. I do intend to add a flashlight up here in some capacity. I am just super undecided as to which one. I do believe that the flashlight is probably the most important upgrade for a working rifle because you can't shoot what you can't see. But I'm very undecided as to what I actually need to put up here. I've tried the Streamlight Pro Tac and it's just ginormous, and that's really not what I'm looking for. The next video like this that you see, I will probably have a flashlight on this gun. Like I talked about earlier, I do want to add an upgraded safety. It's a very basic upgrade, but it just makes running an AK so much better. I might end up adding a RS Regulate handguard if my luck holds. Maybe there'll be a sale today. It is Black Friday after all. For muzzle devices, I do want to add a 24mm one, but also undecided. I saw a Blue Jean Operator running a 24mm one from Definitive Arms, I think. I think it's called the Definitive Arms Fighter Brake, but don't quote me on that. But it looks like it keeps this main aesthetic. It cuts down the length a little bit. It adds some ports to the top of this. It still acts and looks like this, but it has a little bit more of that performance enhancing aspect, which people might be looking for an AK out of it like this. This booster, though, I think has to go. It adds back pressure to the system. I'm not trying to beat my AK apart. I'm trying to make sure that I can keep it on target, keep it flatter a little bit, but also maybe make sure that there's less flash coming out of the end of this gun, because this thing will be a fire breather. I might add the Solar Tactical MFR. It is a little magwell upgrade for AKs. I don't know how necessary that really is, but it might look cool, so maybe we'll see. I definitely want to add a railed gas tube of some capacity. I might add some goon tape around my grip and around my handguard. I'm thinking maybe I'll add some slate black M-Lock panels up front. But I've also seen, and this is so stupid, but I think it's really cool. I've also seen people taking, I think it's M31 7.62 links, and they'll put a bullet in it. I have a singular North Korean bullet, and I think it would look kind of cool to just hang it off the side as my last bullet type of idea. So some more advanced, some more involved upgrades. I do think that I want to add a KNS piston to this eventually. We will see how it performs. But maybe it's not necessary, but I like the idea of tunable gas because I do intend to get into suppressors one day, and maybe I'll just get ahead of the curve. I also, like I said, want to upgrade this mag release to something more enhanced, easier to hit with your thumb. This one right now I don't really have too many issues with, but if it was like this much longer, like the WBP Enhanced Safety looks like it is, if I could just drill out this pin and replace it, I think that would actually be a nice, worthwhile upgrade. I can just hit that mag release just a little bit easier. And then finally, one of the last upgrades that I do want to do this gun, advanced upgrades, if you want to call it that, I do want to paint it. I do want to paint that. So if you guys are interested in me doing a video about how to paint your gun, how to paint your AK, and you want me to post that video, let me know, and I will get some paint. I'm thinking like a Strictarn pattern would be cool. If I painted this whole thing green, and then did some brown stripes throughout, I think that would look really cool. I don't think anybody's ever done that before, so I might go through and do that. I think that'd be really neat. But yeah, this basically wraps up my video here of the basic upgrades I've done to my KP-104. Again, we just went through and we added functional upgrades. We added things which keep down on the weight. We added things that give us a little sighting capacity. We added things that make the trigger a little bit nicer, make the grip feel a little bit better. And we made it sure that these buttons that we're going to be touching all the time are nice and fat, so you can't really miss them. And of course, we added the sling. That's a very important attachment. You should have a sling on any rifle you're intending to use seriously. To quote Lucas from T-Rex Arms, the sling keeps the gun to you.
Slings hold the gun to you.
That's what I want to do. I want to add functional, important upgrades to this. I want to add things that make it a little bit easier to use. And I also want to keep it looking really, really aesthetic. And to me, this is an aesthetic looking gun. I really, really like it where it's at now, and I can't wait to take it into the future with you guys. But yeah, if you guys like this content, again, subscribe. I hope to be able to put out that long form video where I talk about why I'm switching to my AK-104 over my AK-103 and my philosophy behind that. Longer form videos are kind of what I like a little bit more of. I don't really like doing gun reviews type deal. I do like doing builds. I like doing this type of deal, and I really, really like the idea of trying to putting my thought process out there as to why I like the carbine better than I like the full-size rifle. Again, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I hope this has been entertaining, and yeah, have a great day. Happy Thanksgiving! Happy Thanksgiving! I almost forgot. Happy Thanksgiving. It was yesterday. But happy Black Friday. That's today. Okay. Have a good one.